Today we're going to take a look at the three brand new cars added to Gran Turismo 7 in update 1.17. And as with update 1.17 yesterday, we got three new cars. Let's check out those new cars right now. Starting with the V6 Escudo Pikes Peak Special 1998. A absolute legend of a car, especially for those of you that have played the previous Gran Turismos. And at only 1.7 million, an absolute bargain. And just look at it, it is iconic in absolutely every sense of the word. Just beautiful, completely built for function. And next up we have the 1963 Ford Roadster, a beautiful little car, a hot rod with every sense of the word, a true classic. And at only 450,000 credits, a lot cheaper than I thought Polyphony would have priced it. Definitely one that I am going to enjoy driving. Just look at that. And for our last car, we have to leave the legendaries and head over to the Suzuki dealership, where you will find the Suzuki VGT Group 3. And as you've already guessed, this is the Group 3 version of the car which we got in our last update. In the yellow, I think, and we'll just purchase that. 450,000 credits, about the standard price for a Group 3 car in GT7. Very nice. And now we'll just go over to Watlins Glen, which is the new track in Gran Turismo and has taken over as my favourite all-time track. So we'll start with the Escudo Pikes Peak, and look at that. I mean, look at that rear spoiler. That's the kind of thing you find on the front of a snowplow or a JCB. Shouldn't be stuck on the back of a car, and yet it's fantastic. And just listen to that engine sound. I mean, that is got power and power for days. In fact, so much power I couldn't even keep it on the track there. And when you're not abusing the power and pushing yourself off the track, this thing has grip. I mean, my god, this thing has grip. Once your tyres are warmed up, you turn that steering wheel, you point it in a direction and it turns. I mean, I like a car that's twitchy at the front end, and this is perfect for me. You turn the wheel and that front end just points where you want it to go. Hit the power, you get a kick in the butt and the thing takes off like a rocket. I mean, it really is a struggle to keep it on the track. And this isn't even a souped up version. I mean, there's no extra turbos, there's nothing on this. I don't know yet, I haven't actually looked if you could upgrade this car, but as is, it doesn't need upgrading. It's like a rocket. Oops. Well, maybe I should just ease off the go faster pedal just a little bit. But as I was saying, this thing does grip most of the time. Get round this corner, point it in a straight line, floor it, and oh my god, 130, 140, 150, 160. I mean, we were doing nearly 170 miles an hour just in that short straight. Hit the brakes, turn in, which she does, again, accelerate, and there we go, 120, 130 miles an hour. It just keeps on going. I'm actually looking forward to tuning this thing and taking it onto one of the longer tracks like Special Route Stage X or something like that. And as we come round the sharp left-hander, we're on to the last corner and we're back onto the start-finish straight. And again, get it pointing in a straight line, boot the loud pedal, and off she goes. And there is a lap. And this time we'll watch that lap again, but in cinematic mode, which, let's be fair, is probably more entertaining than listening to me waffling on anyway. So enjoy. And with that lap out of the way, we move on to our next car, the Suzuki VGT Group 3. Now, this is a nice little car, but for a Group 3, I found it to be a little bit wallowy, not as planted as some of the other Group 3 cars felt, but it is what it is, and let's give it a go. Turn in, it doesn't seem to turn in as responsively as the Pikes Peak Scudo did, but then again, the Pikes Peak Scudo has probably got the same amount of downforce as the average F1 car, whereas this certainly hasn't. It still grips, it's got a lot of grip on it, and it's considering it's using the same racing hard tyres. It just isn't as responsive as I personally prefer. As with your Scudo, you want to be hitting the brakes for this section around about the 400 metre board, then turn in again. Now, as I said, the Scudo is a lot more responsive. This you have to put a lot more steering input into it. It will still grip, but it requires a bit more driver input. Again, come down here, brake about the 200 metre mark, turn in, completely missed my apex there, and then accelerate down the short straight towards the corner. As we come up to that corner, then hopefully this time, yes, I managed to keep it on the track. I obviously learnt something from my last little escapade. And again, then accelerate up the hill. As you get up here and you get to the bray, you want to look for the 200 metre board. When you hit that, hit the brakes and shield accelerate. Come in again, miss the apex there. Let the power take you out to the left, and then move across slightly to the right, ready to take this next 90-degree left-hander. Now this is quite a deceptive corner. You want to take it sharp, but the power pushes you outwards. As come up to this bend, brake, but only a little bit, because you can take this at quite high speeds. Again, accelerate up until you see that marker board on the left hand side, and then just follow the pit line round until you're back onto the start finish straight. Then again, boot the loud pedal and cross the finish line. And as with your Scudo, we'll do a lap in cinematic mode, and I'll let the car and the visuals do most of the talking. And finally, we move on to the last of the three cars, the 1963 Ford Roadster, which, weirdly enough, is actually my favourite car of the three. It's a beautiful old classic, and it sounds gorgeous. Now, we go down the start finish straight, eventually, because, let's face it, she's slow. We turn in, and it's at this point you really notice that the Comfort medium tyres do not want to grip the track. That and the fact they're about as wide as your hand compared to something like your Scudo or the Suzuki, which are using racing tyres on wide wheels. This thing really does handle like a dog, and yet it's so much fun to drive. You turn in too much, the front end wants to understeer and the back end wants to oversteer. It's brilliant. It's terrible, but it's brilliant. You start braking for the chicane about 150 metres past where the other two are, and even then, that wasn't quite enough. You eventually go through there being very gentle on the steering because it wants to slide, but I don't care. I'm enjoying it. Around here you can hear the tyres just squealing away. They're tortured, but again, doesn't matter. I'm too busy looking at the view, listening to that beautiful engine note and the exhaust noise, and it's fantastic. And that was the only time I hit the apex of that corner, so fair play to the Roadster. Coming down the hill as we approach the infamous corner which I went off at earlier. Am I going to make the same mistake this time? No, she wants to slide out and throw me into the grass so I can say hello to Barry R, but we get round the corner in one piece. This bit I actually found quite amusing. I thought at one point I was actually going to have to get out and push it up the hill. I didn't think we were going to make it, but eventually we get over the brow of the hill and down towards the right hander. Again, turn in. Probably my best apex again, possibly because I'm going so slow and it's a lot easier, but it's fun and that's all that matters. Up to the left hander, apply the brakes. Now this time I was going too fast and the front end understeered on me very badly. Little bit of acceleration, and I do mean a little bit of acceleration because that's all she's got is a little bit. Keep a pair on, go around, follow the left and right, move over to the right, then again come over to the left a little bit, apply the brakes and follow the line for the pit lane all the way around onto the start finish straight. Boot that load pedal as hard as you can and wait and wait and wait a bit more, and eventually we cross the finish line. And that is the new cars in update 1.17. Thank you very much for watching. I would really appreciate if you could give those like and subscribe buttons. It would help out the channel, and I will see you in the next video.